Hey everyone, this is Chris, your friendly neighborhood Minnesota comic geek, back for another video. The discussion topic for today's video is an eBay cautionary tale for people that either like to buy comics on eBay or are looking to start to buy comics on eBay. Before I get started, I would ask that if you enjoy this type of comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future videos. And if you enjoy talking comics, then comment below. All right, let's get into it. The footage that I am playing is of me unboxing and looking over the lot of Uncanny X-men issues that I purchased earlier this year on eBay. So right off the bat, when this box arrived, I picked it up and felt the contents moving around. So I was already off to a bad feeling when I picked it up. And as you can see, as I'm opening it, you can see the comics are just loosely sitting in there with hardly any bubble wrap, any packaging to secure them and keep them from jostling around. Just nothing. And so when I was bringing the box back to my apartment, they were moving around, and I was barely just like walking with them. They were just moving around. And as you can see, they weren't secured in there, and they are packaged together loosely in bundles of about 10 comics per comic bag here, just jammed in there. No bags, they're not individually bagged and board. And as I pulled them out and looked at them, I was in such disbelief that a comic book seller on eBay would ship these kind of valuable comics in such loose shape and just in a way that they can be damaged in the shipping process. The fact that they weren't secured and taped down so that they couldn't move in the box was really surprising to me, coming from a comic book seller on eBay. They should know better. If you're selling comics on eBay, you should know how to pack and ship the comics so that they don't get damaged in the shipping process. Especially higher dollar comics like these are. So now I'm going through, and I'm already in shock at how they were shipped. So I'm going through and looking and inspecting each individual comic, and they are in such bad shape. You'll see as I show them in the light in the video here that almost all of them have a subscription bend right down the whole front cover, and there's tons of spine damage. The edges are all ratty, and just they're low grade books in my opinion. And I'm not a professional grader, but they are low grade books, and for the most part. There's a handful that you could get a mid grade or slightly higher, but they're in rough shape. And the reason I was immediately disappointed with what I was seeing was the listing on eBay labeled and described them as high grade, and these are clearly not high grade books. So to kind of rewind as to why I bought this listing. So one of my 2024 comic book collecting goals was to chip away at issues 100 through 200 of the Uncanny X-Men run. I only have a few of the higher number issues in like the 180s and 190s. And so I want to tackle this kind of era, this 100-issue era of Uncanny X-Men, because there are a lot of excellent stories, excellent books in this run. And so earlier this year, I decided to look on eBay to see, what was kind of available for lots of or a comic book lot of Uncanny X-Men issues. And I came across this listing for issues 135 through 199, an almost complete run of 60 plus issues of the run I'm looking exactly for. And right off the bat, I should have had my antenna up a little bit, in that the listing pictures showed only the front covers, and it showed 10 issues laid out all next to each other, so it was a picture from a little distance away, so you couldn't really zoom in enough to see like all the issues on the front covers, and there were no pictures of the back covers. I let my excitement at the possibility of chipping away such a large chunk of this run kind of get the better of me, and my judgment. I took for granted that the seller was being pretty honest and not scammy about their description, but I went ahead with the purchase, and the listing for this lot came out to about $700 for all these issues. In the grade and the condition they're at, I don't think this is worth $700, even with the kind of 5 issues or so, the Dark Phoenix issues and the Days of Future Past issues. Those, even in low grade, do command a bit of value, but all the other books in this run at a low grade don't command that much value. And so after inspecting all these, I contacted the seller and asked to get a refund, to ship them back and get a refund. And luckily, on such a high dollar purchase, one of the cautionary elements is, if you are going to buy comics or a collectible, make sure the seller accepts returns. And that was one of my kind of justifications for purchasing this, was that the seller did accept returns and gave refunds. And so I contacted the seller to see what could be done about it. They didn't accept my counter offer to get a partial refund. They didn't accept how much I was willing to pay for these books in this condition. And so I ended up shipping all these comic books back to the seller in a much better way than what was shipped to me. They were all packaged and taped together so that they didn't move. Tons of bubble wrapping in the box, so they were even shaking around, didn't move at all. Like I took more care shipping them back than they did being shipped to me. So yeah, I was very disappointed that these books were in such bad shape. And they're almost all newsstand-ish versions as well, which made me even more excited to get these. What would you have done? Would you have just, what would you have paid for these books in this condition? Would you have been fine paying the $700 for these books? Like, should I have kept them and spent the extra hundreds of dollars to try and get them pressed to fix all these creases, spine ticks, bends? Like, that was the other thing. It was gonna, if I wanted to, I would have had to spend several $100s more getting them cleaned and pressed to try and fix a lot of these issues. And it was also going to take a lot more time as well. So ultimately, it was probably going to be over $1,000 all in to get these books fixed up. Would it have been worth it, in your opinion? Have you guys had any kind of experiences buying comics on eBay where books didn't match what you were expecting and you had to get a return or a refund? Do you think I made the right decision to send them back and try and find these issues one by one, if I can, at conventions and at comic shops to try and find better condition comics? Or do you think I made a mistake? Should I have kept these books regardless of their condition? So lastly, I'll give a couple things I now look for when buying comics on eBay. So first, I look to make sure that there are high resolution images of the front and back covers of whatever comics I'm buying. And hopefully the seller puts additional pictures of close-up pictures of the corners of the book or books. You can tell a good seller and someone who's, pretty trustworthy with what they're selling to you if they have those images on their listing. The other things are, again, making sure that they have free returns, free shipping, specifically free returns and refunds. And then also making sure in the description that they explicitly say that the comics will be bagged and boarded and shipped securely. So that way you can be as best, assured that the books you're buying are what they are and they will arrive in the condition that the listing says they will be in. So yeah, beyond that, it's still a gamble trying to buy raw books on eBay. It's a completely different story if you're buying graded books, but buying raw books, you're taking the seller at their word that the books are in the condition that they say they are, and not being able to inspect them in person in the way that you can at a convention is tricky sometimes. So yeah, those are the tips that I would go into with any eBay purchase going forward. I will end this video now, or my part of this video, and just throw on some ambient music so you can enjoy the rest of this kind of examination of the books. But yeah, before I go, I'll just say thanks for watching. And again, if you enjoyed this type of comic book related content, please give the video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, let's talk some comics and enjoy the rest of this video. Bye.